The next step is actually the step I'm the most nervous about, and that's to untangle this tube right here so that we can get these fittings to fit through the hole we just made in the icebox. And this tubing right here, it seems so fragile, but then again that's probably just because I've never done this before. Oh, even though I've read the manual a couple of times, I almost messed up there because you're supposed to unroll this little capillary tube also. Now you're supposed to roll up the tubing again, and as I've mentioned, I am pretty nervous about this, but yeah, let's see how it goes. I think I managed to coil up that tubing without damaging it, but I guess we'll find out later today. I can't shake the feeling that it is a little bit fragile, and I definitely don't want to put a kink in it, so yeah, fingers crossed for later today. So let's see if we can fit the compressor unit in there. I've just gone ahead and removed all the hoses down here because I don't want the compressor to get snagged on one of those. It is pretty unhandy and heavy, and I don't want to damage anything. Like I said, I don't want to mess up. It looks like I'll be able to line up those quick couplings, so the next step is to secure the evaporator. But before doing that, I need to mount the sensor for the thermostat on the evaporator. Now that the sensor is secured, I can go ahead and mount the evaporator. There is such a ridiculously small amount of room here that this is not easy. Oh, that corner in there, that is pretty hard to reach to line this up on the other side of the screw. So I've just grabbed a bit of masking tape, and I hope this will help me just a little bit. Of course, now there's the matter of removing that little piece of masking tape. Aha! Victory! I have no idea how I'm gonna edit the footage from me securing the evaporator, but no matter what it looked like in the video, that is, I'm guessing, one of the worst parts of this project because of the confined space. Oh well, on to the next part of this little project, and that's another terrifying part actually. It's connecting the quick couplings, and according to the manual you can actually break those, and at the same time it states you don't want them to be too loose, so somewhere in between, fingers crossed. According to the manual, you're supposed to turn this part, the female part, and keep this part absolutely stationary or this will break. That's on there pretty good now, so we need to deal with the other coupling. So let's just get this out of the way, and then we should have an easier time getting to the next one. Yes, I can cross off another terrifying part of this project, and just at least cross my fingers that I haven't messed up yet. Let's go ahead and mount the thermostat. These connections lead to the thermostat and needs to be connected to the thingamabob on the compressor. But luckily Isotherm has labeled these, so that's quite nice. So this one says T. And C and P. Okay, P. I guess all that's left to do now is to hook up some power and check that everything works. Like I mentioned in the previous video, I don't have any available slots in my current fuse block, so I'm just gonna borrow one and check that everything works. I'm using this conduit to run the wires from the fuse block to the compressor. Now that I've run the wire to the compressor unit, all I need to do is hook up the negative side to the fuse block, the positive side to a switch, and then back to the fuse block. Oh, and please excuse the mess in here. I stopped sort of halfway through because I realized that I needed another fuse block, so that's why it's kind of messy in there. All we need to do now is to hook up these two to that fuse box, but first we should probably switch off the power. According to my handy dandy documentation, this one should be the autopilot, which we don't really need in here in the marina. Before we go ahead and switch on the power again, I need to replace this 10 amp fuse with a 15 amp fuse. There we go. Well, the compressor is turned on. Now we just need to wait and see if the evaporator gets cold. It's been about an hour since I switched on the compressor, and right now the temperature inside the icebox is 2 degrees Celsius. So I think it's safe to say that the kit works. There are still some finishing touches I need to apply, but for that the icebox needs to be a bit warmer. So I'm gonna switch off the compressor and take Jökull for a walk. Skal vi gå en tur? Skal vi gå en tur?